Cameron. I spent years building my career and creating a life I loved. And when my Prince Charming finally showed up, he had 4 kids in tow. Fast forward through lots of mistakes made and lessons learned, step-family life was much more complicated than I realized. If you're looking for help with blended family life, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Stepmom Diaries, where we keep it real as we dish about all the things. This is your weekly dose of blended family inspiration and encouragement. You're not the wicked stepmother, so let me help you find your fairy tale ending. Come on, let's do this. What was your biggest surprise when you became a stepmom? Was it maybe that stepmom life was a lot harder than you thought it would be? I am guessing that you didn't think it was going to be a total walk in the park, but I bet you've had some surprises. Maybe you've had some disappointments, or even felt like a failure at times. When I became a stepmom, I was pretty much shocked. I had not necessarily thought that it would be all rainbows and unicorns, but I was good with kids, and Craig's kids seemed to like me, so I sort of figured, I got this. How hard could it be? Well, pretty hard it turns out. We had a lot of challenges from day one. We had challenges from Craig's ex. She and Craig have a pretty high conflict relationship, and we had some challenges from the kids, accepting me and learning how to bond with me. And my youngest stepson has special needs, so that presented all kinds of things that I just hadn't expected. Just because you knew that you were getting someone with kids, or that you had fallen in love with someone with kids, doesn't mean that you knew what you were getting into, right? So when I became a stepmom, there were a lot fewer resources than there are now. There still are not nearly as many as there are for biological moms, let's be honest. But there are a lot more now than there used to be. But as I was looking for resources when I became a stepmom, there were really none that spoke to my situation. So I started doing a lot of research. I started learning a lot. And the more I got into it, the more I realized that I had made a pretty decent amount of mistakes, right? So I sat down to try to figure out exactly what I had done wrong, what I could fix, and what I should have done differently. And out of that, I came up with, I'm not going to call it the perfect roadmap for being a stepmom, but I came up with a formula that really helps with all the different areas that you have to deal with as a stepmom. The blended family formula is what I call it. When I started pulling together all these different elements, I realized that there were 7 areas that if I could get a handle on them, they would make all the difference in my stepmom journey. And you know what? It did. Did it transform my life into rainbows and unicorns? Of course not. Let's be honest, every family has its challenges, and you're not going to get rid of all of them, right? But what this did was help me understand the stepmom experience. It helped me understand what was coming my way, and it gave me the tools, and I was able to learn some tricks to tackle all of this. And even bigger than all of that, it gave me the confidence to know that I could handle whatever stepmom life threw at me. So I'm going to give you the pieces of my formula today. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what it means to put it all into action. This is going to be really helpful for you. So let's dive into my blended family formula. The blended in blended family formula is an acronym, and it has 7 parts in it. Each part stands for a word or phrase that is key to the stepmom experience. And I'm going to go through all 7 of those right now. So the B stands for build your foundation. And with this, I'm talking about, going back and thinking about what your expectations were and if they have been met or not met, and having some conversations with your spouse around all that, and really shoring up the foundation of your family. The L is for lower your anchor. Now, what in the world do I mean by that? Well, I came up with this concept of developing a stepmom anchor statement. is sort of like a mission statement, but it will basically be your guiding principle, your guiding values. And it's something that you can refer back to over and over again throughout your journey. And it'll really help guide you, when you have to make decisions or set boundaries. Once you have your foundation shored up, if you can come up with a really good anchor statement as a stepmom, then it'll help you going forward, and it'll be sort of a North Star for you in stepmom life. Now, the E is for engage your stepkids. This is, the bonding that you do with stepkids. And I know I've talked before, but it takes up to 7 years for a step family to fully bond and fully come together. And a lot of that is because it takes a long time to bond with your stepkids. And it's really important that you take that on and, really commit to it and learn how to do it in a healthy and productive way. But engaging your stepkids also means figuring out, what discipline looks like with them, figuring out kind of what you want your relationship with them to be. I mean, they're obviously a huge part of the equation. And so, figuring that out early is really helpful. The N is for new family formation. Now, you may say, we've already built the foundation. What is this new family formation business? Well, that's sitting down with your partner, with your spouse, to think about what your family values are going to be, what your house rules are going to be. What do you want life as a family to look like, right? The D is for dote on your relationship. I should say the first D because there are two when blended. But the first D is for dote on your relationship. So let's face it, you wouldn't be a stepmom if you hadn't fallen in love with someone who has kids, right? And that relationship is the most important thing in your step family. And so often we get caught up in, the daily struggles and the daily drama and, even the mundane, like going to sports practices and recitals and, school and all of that kind of stuff. And then all the crazy, if you've got, a high conflict relationship with the spouse or challenges with the kids, it's really easy to sort of forget about your relationship with your spouse. And all of a sudden, all your conversations revolve around the other stuff that's going on in your life. So it's really important to kind of take another look at your relationship and really put that back on the front burner, right? So the E, the second E, is for the X-Files. And this is one of the things that most of my students want to talk about because it is such a huge and common challenge for stepmoms dealing with their partner's ex, with the bio mom. So with this one, the bio mom is the mother of your stepkids, and that relationship can be really tricky. And so it's important to sort of figure out what the relationship looks like, what you can do to improve the relationship, if that's possible, right? Co-parenting is really challenging. And, if the relationship is not great, if it is high conflict, figuring out how you can deal with that and have it not dominate your thoughts, take up your mind space and all of that. And then last D is, last but not least, don't forget about you. As stepmoms, and I've talked about this on a number of episodes and on my blog at thiscustomlife.com, self-care is huge for stepmoms. Stepmoms are already more likely to experience anxiety and depression than biological moms, more likely to experience it than stepdads. And so taking care of ourselves really is a huge priority. It's sort of like when you're on a plane and the flight attendant says, when the oxygen comes down, you need to put your oxygen mask on you first before you try to help anyone else. You're not going to be good for anyone else if you're not taking care of you. You're not going to be a good daughter, a good employee, a good wife, a good stepmom, nothing. You've got to take care of you. And it's hard to reset our thinking and put ourselves first because so often we get caught up trying to take care of our spouses, our partners, our stepkids, our families, our pets, everything. We get so caught up in it that we sort of put our needs last. So, the don't forget about you part of the equation is really to reset your thinking and be intentional about self-care. And the word intention is really something that is key and core to this whole formula. It's approaching stepmom life intentionally. Now, there's already so much that you have to do as a stepmom that's done with intention more so than in a biological family, right? Things are just sort of different when you come into a relationship and there are already kids. You're having to, with intention, figure out what that relationship is going to be. You're not, just stumbling along as a new parent. You're stumbling along as a new step parent, right? With kids who are already having thoughts and, feelings and all of that kind of stuff. So you really, you have to approach your role with intention, but this formula really lays all that out for you and gives you the ability to take that intention and apply it in every area of your stepmom life. So I've given you kind of a nutshell of the blended family formula. The good news is I can dive in much deeper with you in each area. I do have a 6-week course called, you guessed it, the Blended Family Formula for Stepmom Success. And I don't know if you've ever taken an online course before. If you haven't, let me tell you, virtual classes are pretty amazing. The great thing is you can do them on your own time and you can go back and revisit them. I always found when I was in school, one of the most challenging things for me was, I was a huge note taker. And so I would get into class and the professor would speak and I would take these really copious notes. But then when I would go back and read the notes, I couldn't exactly recreate the lecture. Well, these online classes are awesome because you don't have to recreate the lecture. I mean, you can take notes and all that kind of stuff, but you can also go back and watch or listen to it. So they're pretty amazing. This one is a little bit different because mine is the only online course of its kind that's designed specifically for stepmoms that's going to show you exactly how to address all these issues that you're facing. I'm going to give you a proven roadmap. This is the roadmap that I have used that will get you real results. It's got 7 modules, one for each part of the formula, and I cover it over 6 weeks. And so you'll learn about each of the areas in the blended family formula and really be able to apply these concepts to your everyday life with intention. I'm also going to give you a 75-page workbook that will guide you through implementing everything, all the lessons, every step of the way. Everything's going to be released weekly for 6 weeks so that you don't get overwhelmed because it is a lot of work. And I've got some special bonuses for people who sign up for the course, things that will help make sure that you're successful as you take it. I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I'm going to. This course is a game changer. So I'll tell you a little bit about some of what my past students have said about it. So I had a student named Sarah who said, "This course has given me the guidance and confidence that I needed to begin to communicate openly with my partner, which has brought me peace in my role. It also gave me the opportunity to find other like-minded stepmoms who are working towards a healthier lifestyle. Cameron is real and relatable and created a consistently positive and supportive environment for us." And Amber said, "Throughout the course, Cameron gave us a constant flow of positive support, along with tangible guidance so we could find personalized solutions. I also made great connections with other stepmoms, which showed me I'm not alone and helped me feel even more supported." And Nikki says, "The blended family formula is a total game changer." Wait, did I just say that too? She says, "I feel like Cameron is speaking directly to me. It's really nice to not feel alone, and I love having a proven roadmap from a stepmom who's been there." I can't tell you how much it means to me when I get words like this from my students. Not because I need an ego boost, although it is nice, but it means that what I've put together really makes a difference in their lives. I mean, y'all, this formula really works. I knew when I was developing it that these were the things that had helped me come to peace with the things that I was working on as a stepmom. But the fact that what I'm doing actually helps other people, that is what this is all about. I mean, that is why I founded this business, is to help other stepmoms, deal with some of the challenges that I have dealt with. So what this formula does really makes a difference. It really does. But I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I want you to join the course. Now, let me clarify that a little bit. Of course, I want you to join the course. But what I'm saying, if I'm honest, is that I don't want just anyone to sign up to work with me. I'm really looking for the right stepmoms, okay? What do I mean by the right stepmoms? Well, I'm looking for stepmoms who are ready for a change. Looking for stepmoms who know that what's happening right now in their lives is not working, but maybe they're not exactly sure how to fix it. Or maybe they've done some online work, maybe they've bought some books, but there's not really a clear path forward. I am looking for stepmoms who are ready to take that overwhelm and the hopelessness that they're feeling on a daily basis and kick it to the curb. I want them to know that they can tackle anything that comes their way. I know what it's like to feel overwhelmed. I know what it's like to feel hopeless. I have been there. Trust me. It is why I came up with this. It's why I developed it, because I don't want you to feel that way. I want to help you know that you can deal with whatever gets thrown at you. I also want stepmoms who are truly ready to put the work in. This course is not an easy lift sometimes. You'll have homework, you'll have action items so that you can make the changes in real time. And I want to be clear, I can't do the work for you. You have to be willing to come in, work, and learn and do. And you have to be ready to see the results. I'm not going to tell you that this course will fix all your problems, because it won't. Let's be real. As I said earlier, families have problems. Blended families, biological families, they all have challenges. This isn't going to get rid of those challenges. But what it will do is give you the tools that you need to confidently cope with all the crazy that stepmom life can throw your way. We will talk about things like the high conflict ex or difficult stepkids, how to shore up your family foundation, all the things in the formula. And underlying that is doing it all with intention and being able to communicate with your spouse about the hard stuff. And that is something that we get into in every module. You're going to learn how to rebuild that family foundation, how to reprioritize your relationship, how to deal with the difficult bio mom, how to relate to your stepkids, and how to make time for your needs. Did I go over that way too fast? Sometimes I feel like I'm speeding through all this. Let me slow it down. You're going to learn how to rebuild your family foundation, reprioritize your relationship, deal with a difficult bio mom, relate to your stepkids, and most importantly, make time for your needs in an intentional way. But I feel like I need to let you know again that it's not for everyone. It is not for you if you're not willing to put the work in. If you want a solution that's just handed to you on a silver platter, this is not for you. Stepmom life is hard work, and I think you know that by now. In my course, I ask you to look at some difficult topics and have some conversations with people in your life that may not come super easily. But if you're willing to put the work in, you're going to succeed, just like Sarah and Nikki and Amber. If you're not open-minded, this class may not be for you. If you're overwhelmed and you feel like you may be failing a lot of the time, I've got some tough love for you. What you're doing is not working, right? But if you're not open to trying some new ways of looking at things and new ways of doing things, it's probably not the right place for you. If you're not willing to take a look inward, this probably isn't the right course for you. If you're unhappy, but you're really just looking for validation that it's other people in your lives' faults, probably we're not going to work super well together. And I'm not discounting feelings you may have about how you're treated, because that can all be very legitimate. I understand, when your stepkids are treating you badly, or maybe their mom is treating you badly, or maybe even your spouse. I totally get that. And I've been there too. But there are things that you can do to put yourself first and to push forward and to work on being bothered by that just a little less, right? But if you're not willing to look at your part in the family, your actions and your role, it may not be the right place for you. All of that being said, I want to give this formula to as many stepmoms as I can. I would really love for you to take a look at this and to see if it's something that would work for you. See if it's something that would be right for you. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk to you. And I'd love to work with you, because I know that this can make a difference in your life. And I know that I can help you love your blended family life. So will you be my BFF? Do you see what I did there? Blended family formula. Sorry, I guess if you have to spell it out, maybe it's not the right thing. But anyway, just injecting a little levity, right? But in all seriousness, and I don't mean for this whole podcast episode to be a sales pitch, but I really wanted to take the opportunity to kind of go in depth with you about what this course is and what my formula is, because it is a game changer. And I know I keep using that word, but I have a hard time thinking of another word for this because it really can change your life. So if you think that you might be the right kind of stepmom for this course, or if you think this course might be the right course for you, right? Head on over to thiscustomlife.com/BFF. Again, see what I did there? Sorry, be my BFF. Anyway, head to thiscustomlife.com/BFF to sign up. And if you have questions, I'd love to answer them. So hit me up on Instagram or Facebook and DM me. I am always happy to chat. I will always respond to DMs. And I hope that I will see you in class. But until then, I'll see you here this time next week. That's it for this week. If you've enjoyed our chat, I hope you'll help spread the word. Share this episode with friends and head on over to wherever you listen to podcasts and leave me a review. And don't forget, for more great stepmom content, head on over to thiscustomlife.com and follow me on social media. Just search This Custom Life on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Until next time, you keep being you and know that we are in this together. See you here next week.